Hi, and welcome to this edition of Carbonite U. In this video, we're going to talk about new features for version 12. And new features in version 12, well, we're talking about multi-panel support, media wipe transition types other than cut, white flash transition as a new type, additional multi-viewer layouts, and enabling the Show Alpha button both on the panel where available and in the GUI. So let's go ahead and get into this. And as usual, I'm Les O'Reilly, and I'm the Marketing Product Manager for Switchers at Ross Video. So there's two parts when we're talking about setting up for multi-panel support. And with multi-panel, there's two places. One is on the panel and the control surface. Now, this one is for when you are the master panel. So under the config menu, under multi-panel support, this is where we're going to find the ability to edit the permissions for the master and the satellite panels. There are two types. There's the Carbonite Black panel and there is the traditional Carbonite series. Now the Carbonite Black Plus, Back Plus 12G and Carbonite Black frames, as well as the Legacy 24 input frames, you're going to find the panel serial link connector on the back for the legacy panels. Whatever panel plugs into that port will be slotted as the master panel. So that will be your master, and then all other panels have to connect via IP over the network. So when we look at connecting over the network, then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up inside of dashboard the panel. So on the left hand side, you'll grab your panel, you'll open it up, and you'll see that when you're telling it which frame it connects to, there needs to be the addition of what slot or ID it's going to be. Is it going to be the master, satellite 1, or satellite 2? And so that's how it works in conjunction to determine the elements. So let's hop into our configuration menu. So we've got nothing else that you have to do inside of the system. Once you've configured those panel parameters and elements and your master as well as your satellites, you are good to go. So no more things that you have to do for that. So now let's talk about our media wipe transition types. So talking about the media wipe transition types, when we select the media wipe on our panel, and of course, if we're following along in Live Assist, in our GUI, right, this is going to bring us to the media wipe menu. Holding down the media button, I can also switch between media 1 or media 2 as what is driving the media transition key type. And then I've got the ability to pick my wipes and elements. So once I've picked my wipe and I've dialed in the number to the shop box, so here I just called up 15 as the media ID number that I get from Media Manager. Click on it, it loads it into that channel. Now, traditionally, you would just move the fader, put it into the position that you wanted it, hold down the media button and press cut. And that would make it perform the transition cut underneath that location. And so there was nothing that had to be done to remove that element. You would simply hit it, it does the cut underneath. Well, in version 12, we've had the ability to edit these parameters. So the first thing you can do is you can set up what type of a transition you want to do underneath. Is it a cut? And if it's a cut, you can set the cut frame. You can also just move your fader, just like we did before, to the location we want, and say cut at fader position, and it will determine what fader value you're currently at. So we'll move it a few more frames, say there, 16, and then I would save that. And so now that's the location of it. If this is a different kind of transition that doesn't have the full frame coverage, or it's designed around incorporating things like dissolves behind a fly-in wipe that flies out, then you can perform a dissolve. And so instead you can set your transition type to be a dissolve, And now what you can do is you can decide where it's supposed to start to dissolve. So we're going to start here, and then as we come through, we're going to finish at that location. And then we're going to hit save. And so now when we run that transition, now performs a dissolve. Obviously a little bit harder with that kind of an element to use. Another option is to use a wipe. And so here we'll go ahead and we'll set up our wipe parameter. And now what we can do is, as go to our transition time, as we move through, we can have it that the wipe starts here, and as it comes through, so we'll start at 0, and you can see the wipe is a little bit ahead of the leading edge. And so what we can do is then leverage our wipe parameters. So we'll do this wipe, and then we will rotate it. So you can see that our wipe is now right where we want it. And so now it performs a wipe underneath. Or we could leverage, if it was something like the bulldozer push. So here we're going to push right. And so now that video is going to push at the edge of the wipe. So obviously a little bit early. So we'll move about here. Go to our trans time, say this is where we want to start the first frame. And this is where we want to end the last frame. You go ahead and save that. So now as we perform the wipe, it will push that video and not reveal the other frame. The other transition type that we added was the white flash. So with white flash, we've added the ability for everyone to transition through a color. So we call it flash, not really white flash, but the default is a white flash. So now you can set a white onset and offset. You can decide if the onset is quicker, so a low onset with a quick. And so there you've got your onset of 15 and then your offset of 33. So a longer white in the middle of the transition. You can also set up any color that you'd like. So it could be a purple flash, and you can set the duration. So now if we change it to 8 frames, it's 15% is the onset, and then 33% is the offset. From the panel surface, you can simply double tap the dissolve button to get out of it. If I hold the dissolve, then I get the ability to select between dissolve or white flash. So I can go ahead and select my flash and perform the transition. And when I come back to dissolve, I'm still in the dissolve, the white flash, hence it's blinking. Double tap, go back to dissolve, and the UI is going to follow along. We did add an additional set of multi-viewer layouts. So when we go into our configuration, we go into our multi-viewers. We now have the ability to set up additional sets of multi-viewers. So 16 is still the maximum for the multi-viewers, but we added things like the 266, all of the uppers and rounded with all the quadrants, the lowers. We also added in the 255 and a few others. So now there's a total of 45 different layouts that you can choose from and that you can work with. Also the quads, which are an interesting combination as well, depending on the needs of your time in multi-viewer. And of course the system clock, fully adjustable inside of all of them. here in the user interface. All right, so the last feature for version 12 that we're highlighting, as there were a few other smaller features, but the last one that we added because it had been a while, was the fact that it is possible now to use on your panel the ability to control your show alpha, and if you're on your live assist menu. So when we've got our key selected, we now have our show alpha button. So I can press and hold that, and now inside of preview we're going to get our alpha showing up in our preview so we can quickly see it. We can also double tap it so that it will latch. Useful if you're working with adjusting clips and gains, as well as if you're working on a chroma key and you wanted to see the chroma key. So real easy to do. And you'll also notice inside of the user interface we've also got the show alpha button right there to be able to turn it on. Lights up on the panel as well, so you can disable it from both places. So as you can see, we've packed in a lot of features and a lot of functionality into the Carbonite series. We're continuing to constantly evolve it as best we can. But as always, if there's anything that you guys need from us, don't hesitate to send us an email at switchers@rossvideo.com, and we'll try to get videos up as quick as we can in response. So thanks again for watching, and have a great day.